Oh, I almost missed my own start time. What's up, everybody? It's Dr. Darrell, naturopathic doctor. Um, why do I feel like something's off here? All right, yeah, I think that I'm slightly off center, but you know what? Who cares? Let me move this down just a bit. Maybe I do care. Maybe I care more than I want to admit. What's up, everybody? So we are here for what is today's date? Today is March 10th, 2025, and we are in our AO Scanner Simplified class. This is another week where we have two different types of settings going on. We have one class that's sitting here inside of our classroom, as I call it, where you can raise your hand and come on and ask questions. And then we have some onlookers that are watching us on YouTube. And when I do these, where I do allow the public to sometimes peek in, you're still allowed to, oh my God, look at my head. I gotta fix that. That's a little wacky. Everybody, just excuse me for just a second because this is the funniest thing ever to me. My hair is disappearing. It looks like I have some sort of a contagious disease that's making my hair fall out. Let me see if I can bring that really to the surface real fast. That's hysterical. All right. All right. There we go. When we do these things where we're allowing other people to peek in on the class. Um, I am. It's just an interesting thing because we have two different dynamics, and sometimes we have times like tonight where Solex has done something new and released some new things. And when it comes to things like that, it becomes important just to let everybody know thoughts and how we can figure out how to work with this. So that's what we're going to be going over tonight. We're also going to be taking a look at the future of this particular class. Since we've pretty much covered all of the modules, what we're doing now is we're working on the hub course. The hub course is going to be part of the AO Scanner Simplified. It's not going to be a standalone course, but I'm working to make it so that we can get through it pretty quickly. So I am probably about 2 or 3 weeks away from finishing that. And then once that's done, that'll probably be released at one time. And then we will have a question and answer based off of that. So I'm going to give you all like a week to go through the modules for those of you who have the hub. But what I don't want to do is to take up a bunch of different weeks going over the hub specifically for those, because those of you who don't have the hub, it's not going to really mean anything to you. So I don't really want to take up your valuable time because we're going to continue the momentum of this as we move along with this. And what these classes are going to turn into is AO Scanner mentorships. And so that is how we will direct the flow of this. We're going to have three, you know how we have the two Dr. Darrell or what would Dr. Darrell do per month? We're going to have three AO Scanner mentorships per month. Now, they will be somewhat thought out in that we'll probably start out with giving an update or a directive on a module or some tips. We're going to have case studies, and then we're going to open up the floor for question and answer. That's the reason that we didn't start early this time, because these will become the question and answer. So now you're going to have people that are going to be joining either the membership if we when it's open right now. It happens to be open for a little bit, I think 2.5 more weeks, and then some people are just going to be grabbing the course and coming in, but everybody's going to kind of be at a different pace. Even some of you who've been here since the very beginning, you're going to be at a different place in the AO Scanner based off of your own comfort level, how far you've actually done of the actual course, and just where you are. And so the questions won't now be tied to a specific thing anymore. The questions will be all about utilizing the AO Scanner, whether you are a practitioner who wants to get my concept or my idea on how you can utilize it for whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're using it for yourself or your family and you're stuck in this area or stuck in that area. Hopefully we can bring some sort of question to the table and answers. Also, we still have the support page. If you've looked inside of your portal, I've renamed them to support pages. You have, for those of you who have the mentorship, you have the mentorship support page. For those of you who are just in the AO Scanner Simplified course, we have that. And for those of you who are in both, you can go back and forth to either one, ask questions and get answers. All right. More on that later. So let's get started with what has happened. So we are on the heels of Virtual Day of Discovery. And Virtual Day of Discovery is very similar to the Day of Discovery that Solex puts on. On every day of discovery, what are they doing? They're releasing new things inside of the scanner. They are releasing new things for us to buy. Listen, this is just me talking. I feel like when you go to the actual Day of Discovery, you should just stop by your bank on the way to the airport if you're flying in. Ask for an extension of whatever kind of credit you can get, because you know you're going to be buying stuff when you actually get there. They always get us there. And this is me. I don't know about you all, but this is me. You know what? This happened to me this week. I said, I got everything. They're not going to be able to come out with anything else that I'm going to buy. I might like it. I might say, that's a good idea. I thought that this was going to be the most that could happen. They were going to come out with something that was going to make me say, that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll look into that next year. And actually, I did a great job of balancing myself for about 2 days. And I didn't even watch the full um, the full explanation of the new unit that they came out with, the one that goes over your head. And these are devices, and I'm familiar with these devices. I've been looking at them for a while, and I said that I wanted to add one to my practice in the next couple of years. And when I saw what it was, I said, "Oh, that's cool." But no, I'm not. The reason that it took me so long to actually watch it was because I was sure I wasn't going to buy it. Well, guess who has purchased it? This person right here. And this is what, and I can't even imagine what's going to happen at the actual Day of Discovery when they're releasing something like this at the virtual Day of Discovery. So if you all haven't been to the actual Day of Discovery, literally contact your credit card companies and say what kind of extensions are available, or just ask somebody for some money, because you're going to want to unload your wallet or purse when you get there. But that's neither here nor there, because what they came out with, we're not going to be talking about that today. That has to do with the hub, so we're going to get into that when we get into the hub modules. Speaking of the hub, it's such a genius concept. I remember when I was first, when the hub was first explained to me, I was able to tell at the beginning how genius it is, because they can continue to release products. And as long as the attachments fit on the hub, it makes the scanner more valuable. The attachments utilizes the scanning system, and you can like push frequencies through these attachments. And so it just makes everything just great. And it's just such an amazing concept, because the attachments aren't standalone. They work with the hub, and it makes what seems like an extreme price point. For those of you who are not practitioners, you may not understand that these price points are lowered because the device that it connects to, the hub, is the backbone, and that's the reason why it can be what it is. These devices are $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in some cases, and so because they're attached to something else, they're able to be lower. All right. So one of the things that they did was they changed the interface for the AO scanner itself. And so that's what I'm going to start talking about now. This isn't going to be as much of a training on how to use things, because it's an interface. And the interface doesn't change any of the things that we've spoken about. It doesn't change how you use vitals. It doesn't change how you use comprehensive. It doesn't change any of those things. It's aesthetics. But the way that they've made these changes, the aesthetics of it will make it a lot easier for you all to navigate It will make it easier for people to not have to wonder what to do. And for those of you who aren't prone to reading reports, those of you who don't necessarily want to go through and analyze every little thing, some of this is touch and go, and it utilizes an interface that you're already familiar with. If you are in apps and you are used to scrolling and tapping and having the choices already predefined for you, you're just picking from a predefined set of choices. It makes it a lot easier for you. And it also is going to make it easier for you for those of you who are utilizing Solex as a business. When you're looking to build your downline and you're looking to build this as a business, it's going to make it a whole lot easier for you to be able to teach people how to use things in order to get started. Because that is the problem. People get so overwhelmed that they just don't get started. And I always tell people, just get started with inner voice. But when you see the other things that are right there, and then you start clicking around, sometimes people become so overwhelmed that they never go back up to inner voice. That's less likely to happen when you have a bunch of visuals there. It's real science that goes into it. Prior to now, with this new update, you had a bunch of text words and you had shapes and you had colors. But when you have visuals with pictures, that allows people to look at it a little bit differently. They're going into the same areas of the scanner, but they have playlists that are predefined. They have new areas that are predefined. And so I'm just going to show you the concept of today's class is to show you how the new interface can help you simplify the scanning experience. All right, so let's get into that, why don't we? So this is the interface that you are accustomed to seeing, or at least from the light version that I am accustomed to seeing. Now, if you go over to the far right and you click on this area here where you have a theme, if you click on that, and I'm going to choose light versus dark because I like light personally, and this is version 2. And so, you have the other versions, version 1. Version 1 is the one everybody is accustomed to. Version 2 is the new. It doesn't matter if you click light or dark. That's just going to change the display coloring, but not anything else. I like light, so we're going to go with light. And now, everything changes over a little bit to something that is scrollable. And this, I'm just swiping across, and this is something that people are accustomed to. This is something that people already know how to navigate. When they see that, they just already know what to do, and they're less intimidated just by taking their finger and scrolling than they would be by looking at it from the old view. Now, I do want to tell you all something. There are a couple of bugs here. I'll be reporting them. One of the bugs that's there is no back button on a lot of these pages. So that's going to be problematic for most of you who are utilizing this on a tablet or a phone, and you have what looks like an app. I don't want to have an argument with anybody because, there's a lot of people saying, where do I find the app? It's not in the App Store. And then other people are saying, it's not an app, it's a website. And then other people are saying, it is an app. It's not an app. But it's okay because it's made to look like an app. It's made from the app aesthetic, but it is a web page. And it's a web page that starts with app. So it's an application. It just gets real technical, and it doesn't matter to have the conversation. But those of you who have it on your who have it on, as an icon on your phone, what you've done is you have saved a web page to your phone or tablet that allows you to access it with one click. You could save any web page to that, and it becomes what looks like an app because it's now on your phone. Until they get this fixed, I am going to recommend that you open up your web browser on your phone or your tablet and then go to app.aoscan.com. You get the same thing, but you now get the full functionality of a web page, which allows you to use a back button. Now, technically, there is a way to make a back button, but you gotta either right click, which is impossible. So then, depending on what you would have to know the code in each one of your devices in order to know how to access that little thing that takes you back. So until this is fixed, I'm going to recommend that everybody go to app.aoscan.com, and then this becomes a non-issue because now you can use the back button on your browser. And I will tell you that Google Chrome and Safari are going to give you the best experiences. You might be able to get it to work in other browsers, but and this has nothing to do with the back button. This is just a side thing. You might be able to get it to work in other browsers, but when you have issues, technical support won't be able to help you as much. And most of these issues really go away when you're using those two browsers. And so that is what we're doing here. That's what I have up here. I've got the web browser up. And so when you look up here at the top of the page, that is on the top where on the left where that little left arrow, that will be my acting back button. All right. So that's the tip for today. You don't have to send me any money for it. That's free. All right. So let's look at this because this is really, really cool to me. Let's start from the beginning. Look at this. Want some energy? We have a playlist for you. Now, here's something that is most of us at a certain point throughout the day, we might need a little boost. And what do we normally do? We'll call somebody or we'll get in the AOScan group and we'll say, hey, who has a playlist for energy? Or where is that area of the scanner where I can utilize it for energy? Where is that? This becomes, you don't have to do that now. Now, when you click on this, and in fact, I wanted to go through each one, but I'm now inspired to just go ahead and click on this. When I click on this, what happens? It just takes me right to a Cepheid playlist that's pre-made. And what I'm looking at here is the actual playlist. So energy clearing, energetic shield, energy, stamina, stress-free, energy boost, self-confidence, sports enhancement, adrenal thyroid support, heart plus, trace minerals, supercharger 1. You might not know why all of these things were put in there for the specific playlist, and you might not care. But let's just say you do care. You can actually study that now and say, I think I see why this was done. And you may have something that, let's say you are a person that needs regular energy, right? But you also know from your scanning support that you also need your mind races and you need white chestnut essential, I mean, not essential oils, flower essence, Bach flower, right? You can just go back and write down this entire playlist and then go to your Cepheid custom playlists, rebuild that, and then add in the playlists that you actually want, or add in the extra thing that you actually want. I don't think that they've made it that you could copy this yet. I'm going to look really quickly. I had to take you away from that screen because my playlists as a practitioner, I make playlists for each one of my clients. And so I can't show you that full screen because it has the client's name on it. But I'm just going to go there for a second because I don't think that, I do think that's coming though. All right, it's not there. So that's one of the things that I'm going to put in a request. I'm going to put in a request that from this screen, you can copy a playlist. Let me look at one more thing. Okay. That would be very, very cool. But even if it's not cool, I mean, even if the fact that it's not there, you have this playlist here and you can decide, do you want to broadcast it or do you want to imprint it? So if you don't want to broadcast it, you can just decide you want to imprint. Now, when you imprint, you want to do simultaneous. You don't want to do individual. And then press this button, place the device on top of your screen. You don't have the fractometer that pops up, but you're using the imprint function. That's an amazing concept, that you have these predetermined playlists that are right there. And again, it's following the same structure that most people are already accustomed to. So I want you to imagine you've just signed someone up for the AL. Those of you who are utilizing this as a business, you've just signed someone up for the AL scanner, and you realize that this is a person who has low energy. Do you want to say, hey, let me teach you how to make a custom Cephi playlist? Now, what are they going to say? What the hell is a Cephi? And what is a playlist? You gotta now, because this is what you had to do as of last week. And now you're going to have to explain what Cephi is and hope they don't freak out. You're going to have to explain what a playlist is and hope that they can understand the connection of the two. Or you can say, oh, just log on to your scanner, and on the main page, you see there's a woman with a shoe. Click that. And then there's a button there. Click that. It is literally that simple now. Where prior to this being done, it was necessary to have a teaching moment at every phase. So think about it, because this is what this class is going to be today: a mindset shift. A mindset shift in that when you are looking at this, how can you reframe the narrative, or reframe the conversation, and even reframe your own thinking? So prior to this, you had to teach them every step of the way. I'm talking about those of you who might bring someone on new. Now, you can have them using the scanner within minutes of signing up. And after they've been using it for a week, you can say, you know what? I'm going to go in there now and teach you this or teach you that. Or if they've joined our mentorship, now when they go to the Vitals class, the Vitals class makes a little bit more sense to them. When they get to the Cephi class, the Cephi class might make more sense to them because technically they've been using Cephis all along. And now you can look at them and say, oh, you know that thing that you used that I told you to do? Those were actually Cephis. So now go to Dr. Daryl's Cephi class, or Becky's Cephi class, or the Cephi class from the AL scanner support, or the Solex University. And it will make more sense to them, but they didn't have to have the lesson before learning, because now the format is different. All right, let's get back over here to the main page. Again, we wouldn't be able to use that back button if we had not done that. All right, so what's next? Here's a playlist for a good night's rest. The concept of it is all the same. You have the sleep playlist, and it's really cool to look at these and just kind of look at what they have put in here and then wonder why. Oh, okay. I see why they may have put clearly insomnia, anxiety, mastering stress, coffee cruda. Coffee cruda is a homeopathic of actual coffee. And when you utilize the homeopathic, it has the effect usually of doing the exact opposite of what the thing did in person. And so this is all very, very cool. All right, I'm going to go back up here. Main page again. So you have seasonal allergies. Again, another playlist. We're coming up to a time where allergies are going to be a huge, huge issue, a huge problem. And sending people, or yourself, forget about other people. Some of you are still in that rut where you're not comfortable. You're not at a place where you're ready to navigate the full scanner. And sometimes you get lost in things. These pre-made areas are great. All right. So need a second. Here we go. Run an inner voice. I just love that icon there that just takes you directly to Inner Voice. And from here, you can go ahead and just click Inner Voice and actually do it. I always do mine with vitals. And hello, this is Daryl, and that's my name. I am teaching the AO Scanner Simplified course right now, and I am doing my 10-second voice clip. And then there you go. It's analyzing the vitals as we are sitting here, analyzing the notes and the emotions, and that takes about 10 seconds. Let's go look at that. Let's find out what's going on in my brain, in my body today in just a couple of minutes. But it's analyzing these things, and even though it took them technically to the same inner voice that you always would go to, it's so pleasing to the eye now that the intimidation factor is lessened dramatically. Because again, it looks in the same way that apps look. And they do that on purpose. When you have these apps, you know that they're very similar to one another in structure. And as the times change where the layout of the apps change, you'll notice all of the apps kind of conforming to that. Well, this is basically doing that exact same thing. All right, so then the scan is over and you just go to the reports. The reports page looks very similar to how it always looked. And then you can then just scroll down and see. Curious, do I got any extreme highs? I do have an extreme high. I got a couple of extreme highs. My E is 20 and my C is 18. I don't have the chart up, but I can tell that those two would be red. I know that. This is what we're talking about, extremes. And those of you who are brand new, you don't even know what we're talking about. But if you join us in this course, you would grasp that. So I would be paying extra attention to this E note right here and looking at these organs and understanding that my throat and my my whole digestive tract and my spinal cord could use some real help here. Yeah, I got to go through this when we're done so that I can help to balance out myself. But the point is here, point that I'm making is when you run these reports, you're back to the same screen that you always were on, but you just get there in such the landing page is so much more soft. All right, let me get back to the home page. All right, don't know what to eat. This takes you to the vitals, but it takes you directly to the food sensitivities. Now, prior to this, you had to say, oh, if you want the food sensitivities, you know what, let's do it. Let me not act it out. Let me actually do it. Let me go back to the screen the way it was. So here's the old interface. Boring, flat. Who likes that, right? Like, I'm telling you, by this time next week, you're going to forget that it ever looked like that. And you're going to wonder how you ever navigated that boring, flat portal, right? So you would have to tell people, all right, log into your portal. And then you're going to see something on there that says vitals. Click that. Now, when you get inside of there, everything is going to be selected. But what I want you to do is I want you to select deselect all. And that is going to pull that up. And then just put a check mark in food sensitivities, right? And then you're going to have to click scan and you're going to have to wait. But after you're done clicking scan, you're going to have to then click optimize and then wait. And then after you've done clicking optimize, now you've waited about what? 30 seconds here and another 40 seconds there, and you're waiting on these things to happen. And now after you're done with that, then you're going to have to click report. How many steps did we go to? I'm not joking. I don't know. Let's count it. Step 1, click vitals. Step 2, click deselect all. Step 3, click food sensitivity. Step 4, click scan. Wait, did I skip a step? I don't think so. So I think I'm on step 4. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think step 4, click scan. Step 5, wait. Step 6, click optimize. Step 7, wait. Step 8, click on reports. I'm not doing those steps here because I want to do it on the other one. And so it won't let me if I had just done it. At least I don't think so. That's not the way it has worked traditionally. So what are we at? I'm sorry, I lost. Classic reports. So I think we had 8 steps. All right. So let's go back here to the home page and let's do it the new way. All right. Don't know. So now I'm just going over to don't know what to eat. I'm going to click it and I'm just going to click scan. Oh, it looks like I still have to optimize. All right. So I clicked it, I clicked scan. So now I click optimize. So what's that? That says 3 steps. And now enhance reports. And it will. Now this takes you back to the same screen. So, and it was much faster than it seemed to be before. Now, of course, you might need to explain some of this to people. But when you really, what do people mostly really want to know? They really want to know what's not congruent with them at this moment. That's really what most people want to know. So now, instead of even doing that, right here, hello AO, that's the most genius thing ever because you just click it, you speak, and it starts giving you information. So I'm going to go ahead and click it, allow my microphone, and I am talking and it's capturing my voice, blah, 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 that quickly it's running and processing things and it's giving me supplements that are applicable to my frequency right now. It's giving me high and low notes, and it's giving me frequency mismatches. Now, this is taking the guesswork out of it. It's very simplified. This isn't not something that you want to do as a practitioner when if you're trying to really go in there and analyze where your client is sensitive or trying to figure out where you're sensitive. This is not what you want to use. But if you're about to sit down to eat dinner, if you're about to go to a restaurant, if you're about to order takeout, this might give you some concept of the things that are not resonating with you. So right now, what's not resonating with me? Cottage cheese. Well, I don't have to worry about that because I am not going to be eating cottage cheese. Processed cheese, I probably don't have to worry about that. Seafood crab, I definitely don't have to worry about that. And spices vanilla. As I keep teaching in my course, when you look at these frequency mismatches, it is not telling you that you have that in your system. It's measuring the frequency of things against your frequency and determining whether or not there is a mismatch, meaning whether or not that frequency is resonating well. And it could very well be that if I were to eat crab, that would be a bad idea. All right. I'm going to be going to the questions in the chat in a bit. I saw that someone asked, is the result going to be similar to what you would get in vitals? These are going to be the top frequencies that are specifically mismatched from you. If you want a deeper look at things, or if you want to find out something very specific, then you would go to vitals and you'd get a different type of a report. All right. And so it also allows me a broadcast that will help to balance out my own frequency. Wait a minute, where are we at? Did I have it? Did I have it on this, you all, when I was going over this, or did I just have the screen on me? But it also will allow you down here. You get a 2-minute broadcast that you can listen to that helps to balance out your frequencies. All right, let me go back over here to the main page again. And so now we get into the areas of, once you or your client or your The person that you're mentoring might want to explore a little bit more. All of the areas of exploration are still there, and it takes you to the same area. If you want to look at Cephis, where you can imprint, you click on Cephi, and it even now the main Cephi page is a little bit more customized. So if you want to erase the frequency of something, then you can click erase, and it takes you right here where you hmm, oh yeah, sorry, where you would place the thing that you want to erase right there, and you would press start, erasing the frequency from it. Again, you're going to use the back button because hopefully you did what I said and use the actual browser. And for those of you who have the shortcut on your desktop, usually the browser functions go away. Now there is another way to go in there to say, give me the browser functions. It's going to be different for everybody. So this is just a quicker way. If you know how to figure that out, then go ahead and do that as well. Also, for those of you who want to imprint frequencies, you can go ahead and click imprint. Um, Now this is an interesting thing. Oh, see, it says imprint, but this is really copying and transferring. I mean, you are imprinting when you do that. And so when you, all right, did I catch another glitch? Hang on, let me look at this. All right, yes, I clicked that and it did not go to that page just a second ago. So I'm going to click on imprint, um, and you put the item that you are copying from on the top, the item that you're copying to on the bottom, and you press start. And you're copying the frequency from one to the other. All right. From here, you can create a custom playlist. We've talked about how to do that already. But you have curated playlists that are already there that are down here as well. So playlists for allergies, sleep, energy, weight loss. So let's look at the one for weight loss because that's the one that's going to be half of us are going to immediately see that and say, oh, that's the one I need to start with immediately. And then you get to look and see exactly what's in there. Again, clearing gratitude. Why is gratitude? Why is gratitude important for weight loss? Let me come back to full screen for this because I'm not going to give a whole lecture because there's too much going on here and I got to get to question and answer. But the reason that so many people cannot dump weight is because they're dealing with such emotional baggage where they have no gratitude for themselves, they have no gratitude for their own lives, they have no gratitude for their own well-being, that they cannot dump that frequency, and the holding on to that frequency makes them necessarily hold on weight. And that is the reason why most weight gain is an emotional balance. Most weight gain, well, it used to be more of what I'm about to say in the past, and I'll touch on the other side of it in a second. But in the past, most weight gain had to do with an emotional trigger that happened where you became emotionally closed off, and gaining weight became a mechanism that allow you to focus on something else and also not be seen in the same way. Now, we're living in 2025 now, where we have chemicals that are coming from every direction. And the chemicals would have done the exact same thing as the emotions did, meaning when you have chemicals that your body is trying to fight off things that are not natural constantly, it cannot focus on losing weight and it has to focus on keeping you alive. Now you have both things that are going on. You have emotional baggage that is at an all-time high. You have a chemical imbalance that is an all-time high. There is almost no way for people to lose weight right now other than starvation. Outside of dumping emotional baggage and dumping the chemical toxicity that makes up our bodies. When we look at dogs and cats, because many of us are animal lovers, You see overweight dogs. You never used to see them. I'm 55. When I was 15, 16, 17, 20, 20, we didn't see overweight dogs. Why do we see these overweight dogs now? Because dog foods are laced with all the same chemicals that human foods are laced with. And because we're seeing this epidemic of this, now dogs are getting obesity issues. They're getting diabetes. They're getting cancers. They're getting high blood pressure. They're getting arthritis. They're getting all of the same things that we get because their bodies are now being targeted in ways that it was never designed for. All right, let me stop there because I'll be there all day long. Let's go back to this particular playlist. But this is a very, very cool playlist. But it's the beginning of a playlist. For those of you who have been under my mentorship for a while, you've learned of ways to find out what your body actually needs. Then this playlist becomes, as you become more advanced, this playlist becomes a starting point. You can take this playlist, look at what your scan is to find out what your body's individual needs are, and then take that and add to that what your body needs, and you're covering all your bases. This is generic, and it's working amazingly for what it's used for, but there are certain things that your frequency personally is off for, where you can take what's already curated for you and enhance it. But until you're ready to do that, having the curated playlists there are absolutely amazing. Somebody said, how do you get to the weight loss? We were on the main page and we went down to Cephi. We went to Cephi. And as we scroll down, it says, pick from one of our curated playlists right here. We just scrolled until we got to weight loss. And there's burnout and energy and sleep and allergies. And I'm sure that they're probably going to curate more, but it just gives you an idea of how to do it. Because most people don't even know where to start when it comes to creating a playlist. All right, so we have our quantum Cephis, our reach, our frequencies, our affirmations, our flowers, our chakras, our homeopathics, essential oils, AO minerals, all of that's there. Let's go to frequency. Just going to click on that, and it takes you to the page that you're accustomed to. It looks a little bit different, but it takes you straight to the page that you're accustomed to, where you can click this down button and choose the frequency that you actually need. Back pain. And then you can do an imprint, a 2-minute broadcast, or a continuous time broadcast, or you can click this and choose 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour. This part is the same, but how you got there is completely different. All right. All right. So push Cephi even further. Cephi dots, AO-Tune, multicast, homeoenergetics. Let's look on the Cephi dots. When you get here, you're exactly in the same page that we went over in our lessons. So when you're looking at this new interface, the main page, well, with Cephi, it was the first 2 pages of Cephi. It was the main page, and then when you clicked on Cephi, there was a brand new page. But all of this is just designed to give you the same frequencies, the same level of treatment, but make the interface so much easier to navigate. Let's go back to the main page. You have your easy scan, your inner voice, your energetic boosts, your customizable body scans, your vitals scan, mind sync, pet scan. All of this that was there is still there, but the layout is so simplistic that it allows people to get started right out of the box. The only people who can't sign up for the AO scanner now and start using it immediately The only people who cannot do that are people who have no concept of technology as it exists in 2025. So if you're dealing with somebody who has been away, they may have been in prison, they may have been in the hospital, they may have been in, well, even in the army, they still have access to these things. But if they were away for years where they don't know modern technology, okay, they're not going to know. Sometimes you have older people who are just not keeping up and they might not know. But the average person now, my suggestion to you is to put something together. And if you guys want me to, maybe I'll do it. You know what? I'll do it. I know you want me to, so I'll do it. Um, I'll put together a video. Give me a couple of weeks to work on it. Thanks, Kathy. Back to you. Um, I'll put together a video where it'll be more like a jump start video for those if you just got the scanner, but it'll be utilizing, because I didn't do that before, because it's hard to do a jump start in the way that the layout was before. But now I could do like a 3-minute video that just shows people go here, go there, and play around with it, and encourage them to play around with it for maybe a week before we really start training or learning. And, maybe you don't say a week for those of you who are doing your passes, because a lot of you have the passes that you are either giving out or utilizing in some way. But it'll make people able to use those starting from the moment that they get their login. The moment that they get their login. There need not be a learning curve anymore. The learning curve will help you to just understand what you're doing, but you no longer need a learning curve to be able to do it. All right, I am going to go to questions. So this, in essence, will be how the mentorship will move now. When we have our classes, we will go over something. We will either do a case study, or we will look at something in the scanner and I'll give you a tip. But then we'll just open up the floor to questions. So those of you who have been dealing with things for the week or a week and a half since whenever the last thing was, we can talk about it. We can discuss it, and it will evolve from that. And it will move. For those of you who are watching and don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not even going to go into the specifics of it now because I want to get the question answered. But if you go to drdarrellwellness.com and click on membership from the top, you'll see what I'm talking about. We don't let people into our membership 365 days a year. We have open periods. Right now, we are in an open period for another 2 weeks, and there are membership options. When you become a member, you have access to the entire portal called the Quantum Wellness Portal. And that includes all of the classes that we do. Just literally every class that we ever do is included inside of your membership, along with all of these others. If you are an AO Scan person, you have all of these other portions of the Quantum Wellness Portal that kind of helps you. Charts that show you how to use your lasers on the body and on the ear. Charts that show you how to use the wand on various points. Other sound therapy. We have recipes. We have other classes and courses that are just at no charge if you have a membership. If you don't have a membership, whenever we release a course, if you decide to join in that course, you can. You just have to pay for that course. All right. If you want to come on and give some feedback on what's new, go ahead and click on the button to raise your hand, and I'll bring you on. I'm gonna try to sort through some of these questions because it looks like the chat was going bananas while I was talking. So some of this might not even be relevant anymore. But let's see where we are. First of all, I'm hoping that the comments show today because we keep having issues with that. But I at least figured out what the problem was. So if it doesn't, I know how to fix it. There it did. Ann says, looking forward to the hub course. Afraid to use it until I learn how to use it. Don't be afraid. You're not going to break anything, Ann. So just go ahead and get started. But I am working on that diligently because it has changed the game. The hub has changed the game. All right. Christina's getting bumped out of Zoom. Christina, I don't know what's going on there. I apologize. Stopping on the bank by weight. Yes. You got the RTMS too, Debbie. I wonder, tell me what did it for you. It was I've been looking at these devices for so long, as I said, I've been looking at them for so long, and they are thousands of dollars. And the fact that it's connected to the hub, connected to the scanning system, we can probably pull Cepheids and frequencies through it, but it's so customizable, and the list of what you can actually run with it. And you know what I really love about it? Once you balance out a person, utilizing it once a month as a practitioner, most of my people that I see after I've got them through the hump, they come to see me once a month, and it works great for that. So I love that. Oh, wait. Hang on one second. Let me get back over here. Is that Debbie? Yeah, that is Debbie. Hang on one second. Let me bring you in here. All right, go ahead.
I have a TBI, and so I have been using the hub, hoping that that would help, but just reading on the RTMS and the little bit that Lauren and Kai shared about it, I was like, and looking on my hub at the back, it shows like the very bottom one is on brain trauma, one of the settings for the RTMS. So that kind of did it for me.
Yeah.
It's hard of driving around to all these appointments. If I could do it at my own home, it would be much better.
How long after you saw it did you order it? Was it something that you had to really think about, or did you just grab it?
Instantaneous.
Well, see, you're better than me because it took me a little while, and I really thought that they weren't going to get me, but they got me. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Hopefully we have it soon and we can report back, but that's very, very cool. Thank you, ma'am. All right. When do you want to clear before imprinting? If you're dealing with something that you think has frequencies all over it, just clear. It's not really it's not that vital, because eventually you're going to overpower the frequencies anyway. But clearing is something that, if there's frequency on something, just clearing it before you add fresh frequencies just allows things to just be nice and neat. Elizabeth says that back button was bugging. It's bugging me too. As a person who's into technology, it has driven me insane. All right, so Joe says in the middle of the screen at the top, AO scan words, click that. That's the back button, but that's not on all of the on all of the pages. That's the problem. So some of them have that, but a lot of them do not, and then you're just kind of stuck. Debbie says, anyone have frequency of the mind sync on your computer? The affirmation prompts are bunched together. One of the things that I experienced with MindSync a couple of times is I would have trouble when I got the actual MP3. It sounded great on the when I played it and recorded it, but when you got the MP3, it was all jumbled, and that happens because of compression. When you start with compressing things when it's actually saved, and then there's a whole compression feature, and then it turns it into an MP3 file and send it. The way that I get around that is I use now this is only going to work on Google Chrome. I just need to lean in and see what it's called. It's called Chrome Audio Capture. That is a plugin for the actual browser, for the Chrome browser. You can add on to it, Chrome Audio Capture. And so I utilize Chrome Audio Capture to save everything that I want on that is brought, like if it's on Chrome. And so what I'll do is I'll play the MindSync and record it that way. and then save my own MP3 file. And that way I am not limited to the compression of the server. I just have seen that happen way too many times. And I made a video. If you all just go to my YouTube page, Ask Dr. Daryl, what was the point of the video? I think it was about MindSync. I think I made a video there where I was specifically teaching people how to make a MindSync that was longer, that played longer than whatever the MP3 file was. I think that was the point. And I went step by step on how to use that particular feature. It's a public thing. It's on my YouTube page. If you guys don't see it, somebody ask me for the link, because I can't get it at this moment, but ask me for the link in our support, in one of our supports, and I'll go back and grab it and put it there. All right, just looking down for more questions. Looks like there's chat that's going back and forth. Didn't know about that. The homeopathy is Cepheid, opposite of what it says. Well, the answer that is actually homeopathy in general. So when you were to, if you find something that somebody is allergic to, if you make a homeopathic of something that you're allergic to, let's just say somebody is allergic to peanuts. Let's not use the word allergic. Hold on. Let me back up, because I want to stop myself from going to prison. I am at location number 2, and the feds might know where that is. So I before they get here, please hear me. Nothing that I am saying is diagnostic in nature. Nothing that I am saying should be taken as advice that your medical doctor might go against. Nothing that I say should overrule any medical practitioner. I am merely giving you the benefit of my experience. I'm merely giving my opinion, and you do with it what you will. That being said, if you have a sensitivity to gluten, if you have a sensitivity to peanuts, you have a sensitivity to anything, if you make the homeopathic of that thing, the goal of it is to teach your body how to deal with that thing. And instead of it having that effect on you, it has the effect of minimizing the result of that. That's homeopathy in general. Like cures like is the concept of homeopathy. And when you that same concept is for coffee, and what the thing in it that triggers extra energy that will keep people up, that will hopefully have the exact opposite effect from a frequency standpoint, balancing out the frequency that has this effect, and the result of the balance of the frequency is the other effect. That's the concept behind it. That's a really, really loose, general way to explain this. I am oversimplifying it just a bit, but that's what that means. And so that goes with all homeopathy in general. I'm pausing because I'm reading to see is there any actual questions. Peggy says, has anyone found a way to multicast one of the pre-made lists, allergies, sleep, energy? There is not currently a way. This is brand new, so they might come out with a way to do that. But when you go to multicast, it's going to have you pick a playlist that you're doing. One way to get around that would be to create something similar to the way that they were doing Cepheid playlists back in the day before multicast came out, and create your group of people inside of objects, so it now becomes a place that you can broadcast to. And if you however you learned about that, just go learn that again. Inside of our course we have a little thing where we told you places and objects, and you can name it, and you can put the name of the people that are inside of there and put information about them. You know, it's to your comfort level. If I'm doing it, I'm literally just putting their name and maybe an association because it's frequency. You just need to identify the frequency of that person and then put that person underneath yourself. Then, when you actually go to the Cephi playlists, let me make sure that I'm right about this before I teach it too much because I'm liable to have egg on my face. But I feel pretty similar. I feel right that I'm right. All right, let me go click here. All right, so let me go back out. I'm going to go to the seasonal allergies playlist, and then right here, if you click that, what happens is the list that you made will show up there, and you can then broadcast it to a different source. And so now you can broadcast it to the places or the object and places that you actually made, which would then be that list. Now, that takes a little extra work on your part to get that done, but once you do that, then it becomes easy to do. All right. So it's a workaround for now. Hopefully, they will start to include those things in a way, in another way that makes you able to do that. Marsha, does anyone know how to get back home to the old homepage after you get to the new part? Yes. So when you are on this screen, if you click this area here, and then you go to theme, you can then go back down to, well, the way I have mine is Minty Light version 1. If I click that and then click apply, then it takes you back to the interface that you were accustomed to. That's how you get back there, Marsha. All right. All right. Looks like some other people had already answered her. All right. Will the results be similar to vitals? Oh, I saw that when I was doing it. It's somewhat, but not nearly as detailed. Ah, hey, Matt, on the iPhone. Is it better to use Hello AO Scan than Quick Scan when you need a quick overview of your frequencies and what's resonating with you? The AO Scan is faster than the Quick Scan. I don't, I, I don't, I don't want to say it's better, but it's much faster. Now the difference is you're not going to get the full. You're not gonna get everything. Like um, um, when you do a quick scan, you are getting other things, and you're getting imprintables, and you're getting a different thing. And of course with easy scan you're getting an actual full um, um, scan, where you're getting the full vitals. So it just really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I probably will use that a lot more, the newer one, the Hello AO, a lot more, because it literally is over within just a second. But I don't know if you can say one is better than the other. It all has to do with what you're trying to accomplish. So take a look at both results and see what resonates with you there. Can you explain about the two screens on Cephi? Which part of the two screens? Actually, would you mind coming on? Would you mind unmuting? All right, hang on. Let me get you in here. Hang on 1 second. Add you. All right, go ahead. Hey.
So when we went on the screen, you had two screens. You said one was for like the imprinting. There was like two screens, one on top of the other.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that before. I didn't understand that.
Let me see which one. Let me go back to it. Hang on. All right, first I gotta go back to the new setup.
Yeah, right there. Exactly. And you hit imprint. So you clear the object, whatever you're gonna do first, and then you imprint. What are you imprinting? Because nothing's coming up yet.
Oh,
And why are there
well,
two screens?
hang on. See, it uses the word imprint, but what this is doing is, if you look down at the bottom, this is copying. So it's bad wording. So this isn't the traditional imprint. This was, do you remember in the old system where you would copy from one to the other? Okay, well, it had a copy section. And so that's what this is. But the word imprint is used here, but it says down here at the bottom, transfer frequencies to one from one to the other. So
Can you
technically
give me
what
an
you're doing,
example?
pardon?
Can you give me an example? Let's say how you would do it?
Sure. If you have, let me go back over here to it. If you have if you have a supplement,
Okay.
and I don't have my overhead camera, so I can't actually show you as I'm doing it. But if you had a supplement and you put the supplement on this one, the top,
Okay.
and then you put your water or your tincture bottle or your bracelet on this one, and then you click start, you're transferring the frequency of what's on the top into the water, the bracelet, the pellets, the ring, whatever it is that you're actually transferring. And these would be things that are not in the scanner. It's just it's actually a copier. So it copies
Oh,
frequencies from one area to the other.
very cool.
You had never seen that. That was actually, that's not new. And again, this is what I mean by like this, they should not have
Oh,
using the word imprint is probably not, wasn't the best way to put that wording there.
I know what you're talking about. When we were in the beginning, I would take my vitamins and I would put them in and I would put down what it was and then I would imprint it into the scanner. So this way it would have the frequency of the vitamin. That's what you're
Yeah, but
talking
that's
about,
not what
right?
this is. That's not what this is. This is putting the frequency in something else. So let's say again, you've made a homeopathic and you have the homeopathic in a vial, or you have the homeopathics in pellets, and then you have some blank pellets. You would put the homeopathics that you've made on the top. You would put the
Okay.
blank pellets on the bottom, and now you've transferred the frequency from one to the other.
Oh, okay. Okay, fantastic.
Or water, or your ring, or your watch, or whatever. But that's what that actually is. And again, that actually is not new. That was actually in the other one. But I think that it was, people didn't pay much attention to it before.
Yeah, because I never really knew about that in the old school.
Yeah. Yep. So that's what that is.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, let me go back down here. Did they change the imprint? I've always put what transferring to on the top and from the bottom. You know what, Lucy? You might actually be right about this. Since I have my own copying device, I never use the scanner for copying. So I will find out what the actual rule is. To be very honest, the scanning system is frequency, so intention is a little bit more important than that. But I will find out what the actual rule is, because in my office I have a machine that I use to do this. I actually never utilize the scanner for it. So Lucy, that may have been a great catch on your part. Thank you so much for that. Is the AO scanner good for clients even though we cannot send them a report? I would not use it for clients yet. Now, when Lauren talked about it, Lauren mentioned emailing. So I don't know whether or not that's something that's coming, but right now you can't email it. So if I were utilizing it for a client, I would not utilize that unless I was just on the phone with them and I was just going to just tell them very quickly which food mismatched came up. That would be the only reason that I would utilize it for an actual client. All right, Lucy, hang on a second. Gonna go to you next. Hang on 1 second, Lucy.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Hey.
So after I answered that or asked that question and I was playing around, so I went back to the original one where you could click on the little question mark
Mhm.
and it gave you more information. So it does say that what you're imprinting into goes on top and what you're pulling from goes on the bottom. And that
Gotcha.
is
Thank you
on
for that.
the
And I'm looking
original
at the new one.
screen.
I wish that it had that up there, but it does not. So thank you for that. So yeah,
Yeah.
your problem that you were right the whole time. It's my inexperience in that feature because I use a different device. So thank you for that. Seriously, I appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
Lucy saved me there. All right. All right, Marcia asks, how do you get to weight loss? Same way. You from the main screen, you go down to Cephi, and then on there you'll see curated playlists. Just scroll, and weight loss is one of them. What about unexpected weight loss? Does weight management frequency help whether a person has so when you're dealing with frequency, these factors that we place on things are not relevant. Meaning, I don't mean that the question isn't relevant. I'm saying that if you were to look at the frequency of not being able to release fat, whatever that is, it has a numerical value to it. Whatever frequency or set of frequencies that are there, it does not take into consideration a disease or other things. It's just whether or not things resonate. Now, if there are other factors that are there, you might want to create a free a playlist utilizing the frequencies that are there and then adding to it. But when we're dealing with the frequency, it's just the frequency, a bunch of frequencies that are all designed to do different things that are to achieve a very specific goal. All right. And so that particular playlist has so many things in there, but it's not specific to a condition. So if you were going to deal with it as a condition or other conditions and factors, I would take that playlist and then take a different playlist and either add to it or broadcast both of them at the same time, which you can in multicast. You can broadcast two frequencies together. Right. If one of is using an original phone from Solex, how do you set up the back button? I've never had the original phone from Solex, but I believe that you can. It doesn't matter. The phone from the original Uline phone is just a regular phone. So you just go download whatever web browser is on that phone. I mean, you can do other things with it. So you would go and to your web browser and then just go to app.aoscan.com. That's all. It's just utilizing the fullness of the web browser. That's the only difference. Let's see, Tina. If we are in the new interface or dark version 2, how do you get back to the main screen on AOScan? I mentioned that. I think if you didn't see that answer, Tina, ask me again, but you probably typed that before I
Yes, I got it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Right. Please go over the PET scan in the new format. It doesn't make sense to me. Most supplements are not related to pets. I have not studied the new PET scan. I did not realize that there was any difference there. So now I'm curious. Let me just let me go over there and look at it. So I did not realize that the PET scan was different. Where is the PET scan? Well, I'm on the Cepheid part, or am I? All right. All right, I have a dog here. So your question, let me go back to your question for a second. It doesn't make sense to me. Most supplements are not related to pets. I think I understand the problem already. So when you are utilizing this, you determine what you're actually clicking on. And if you don't click anything, then it's probably just going to pull from the supplements that are all in your scanner. So let me see. I'm just going to click next and just do a quick scan. I didn't choose any supplements, so now I'm just curious about what it's going to pull up. Scanning my dog now. Oh, I didn't show you that part. Sorry. It's scanning my dog now. All right. So no supplements came up. Maybe it's because I didn't click anything. I'm gonna just try it again. Oh, you know what? All right. Let me click general and then go to next and let's scan and see what pops up.
I ended up clicking all of them.
Wait, hang on 1 second, please.
Okay.
It's all right. All right, so we have some homeopathics that came up. I am clicking finish, and I don't actually see a report. So I'm going to have to study that a little bit more because I do not understand what happened. All right, let me know who's talking. I need to click on something first. All right, hang on, Elizabeth. All right, go ahead, Elizabeth.
Yeah, because it seems like you think you would do your PET scan from there, but it's not, you still have to do it from vitals.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know why you would, you think that they would have to be able to do the PET scan from that spot if it says PET scan.
I think that's a glitch. And the reason why I think it's a glitch is because when I look on it right here, it says literally right here, perform a vital scan on your pet. Scans various body systems. Click here to see how your pet is doing. And that's what I clicked. And it is not performing the vital scan. So I think you, Elizabeth, have found a glitch that needs to be reported.
Good.
Which is fine because there are growing pains all the way around. But you're right, that doesn't make any sense. But when it comes to the supplements, very often the supplements won't make sense unless you specifically create your own list of supplements that it's scanning for the actual dog. But the supplements didn't even used to be part of the equation.
No.
And so now I guess on here you still have to go back and click the vitals and then choose dog and it becomes different. But you're right. That clearly is a glitch because it says on there that you should be able to do the vitals.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
thanks. All right. We are running out of time. Let me get down here. Dr. Janine Ridgway says we're making her want to run to the bank. Dr. Janine Ridgway was on this week's or Day of Discovery. Did you all see her? Her talk was very fascinating. So let me just be very transparent for a second. Dr. Janine Ridgway is my personal mentor, And she helps me so much when it comes to guiding through things, not necessarily with AL Scanner. We seem to bounce things off of one another, but we work together in other programs where she's way more advanced than I am down that road, and I help her. It's a balancing situation. I help her some way, but she helps me more in other ways. But when I hear her story, it's so encouraging because it shows persistence and it shows what happens when A, you don't give up, but B, when you recognize that an opportunity is presented to you. And Dr. Janine Ridgway literally had walked away from her holistic health and chiropractic care because life happened and she wasn't confident in what she was doing or wanting to even necessarily do it because she had some other issues. She's a chiropractor who doesn't like touching people. That's really kind of, that's not going to work out. That's like a massage therapist who doesn't want to touch somebody. It's going to be a difficult road. But she was given an opportunity and saw it, and now she's flourishing on a whole different level. Dr. Ridgway's Day of Discovery talk was overwhelmingly motivational. And if you guys have not seen that, I would recommend that you get over there and watch it while we still can. How did you get to the food list after you scan and optimize looking for the short list? Well, that was done on the regular vitals or food sensitivities. And so at the top on the main page, there's something that said food sensitivities, or maybe it wasn't the top as you start scrolling down. If you click that, then it takes you to only the food sensitivities, but you still have to scan and optimize. All right. All right. It looks like we are coming down to an end. Oh, people are raving about Dr. Janine. Where are we at? Comments. People are raving about Dr. Janine. Dr. Janine was very inspiring. Her Day of Discovery talk, she is so inspiring. I love Dr. Janine's presentation. Yeah, so did I. All right, everybody. For those of you who are inside of our course, this course now turns into a mentorship, AL Scanner mentorship. If you look at if you go inside of your portal, you will see the courses as they are. I forgot which dates we have set up for this month, but the dates are there. Also, the dates for the AL Scanner, or not the AL Scanner, the What Would Dr. Daryl Do are there. The first one of this month is tomorrow. Where's it the second one for this month? I keep forgetting where I am. But we have a What Would Dr. Daryl Do tomorrow. So for those of you who are inside of there, that's when you come and you ask questions about whatever. It can be about the AL Scanner. It can be about anything dealing with natural health. And we're working on finishing up the hub course that will be presented. All of you who have who have or in the mentorship, you have access to it. All of you who purchase the AL Scanner Simplified course, you'll have access to the hub course. And that's the way we will do this moving forward. We will teach some sort of a lesson, and then we will dig deep into your problems or issues or questions dealing with the AL Scanner. And we will turn this weekly class into a 3 times monthly AL Scanner mentorship so that we can keep the momentum going. And we will always be adding to it as the AL Scanner adds things to it. We'll add new modules, we'll add new trainings, and we'll keep that moving. For those of you who are watching us over on YouTube, feel free to head on over to drdarylwellness.com and click on membership if you want to join us. We will be open for membership until the end of March, and then we will close for a specific amount of time and come back. All right. Hopefully, I will see all of you that are here tomorrow. Come with your questions for What Would Dr. Daryl Do? All right. Thank you all so much. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.